Greetings everyone, this is Vada here, and this is definitely one of the parallel abysses of all time. Let's not waste any time and get straight into it, shall we? For the third side, you're definitely going to want either an Electro or a Pyro DPS. I'm gonna go with an Electro DPS myself because Pyro is not as plentiful on my team, and I kinda wanna use Electro. And for the second half, I can't believe I'm saying this, but you actually kind of want a burgeon team because of 12-1 needing lots of pyro and the Baptist in 12-3 needing all of the various elements present in a burgeon team. The teams I decided to go with are Miko, Beidou, Kazuha, and Beidou on side 1, and Nahida, Xingqiu, Bennett, and Thoma on side 2. I will showcase the builds at the end of the video. For the third side of floor 12-1, you will be meeting lots of whopper flowers. If you go far enough away, they will teleport to you so you can defeat them easier without having to run around all around the entire arena. What you should be focusing on during the entire battle of both 12-1 and 12-3 later is to make sure that your Beidou's burst is up all the time and to be using Kazuha's elemental skill to group the enemies up. Also do make sure to have Miko's elemental skill active, to have the damage be active all the time. There are quite a few waves of enemies on 12-1, so you want to take care of them as fast as possible. After that, you will go up against these Dorito robots, or triangles, or whatever you want to call them. I never thought I would be using Beidou for a floor. I haven't used Beidou in forever. But Beidou is just so convenient because her, I believe her Constellation 2 causes her burst to bounce between multiple enemies. Between 3 enemies total, I think. And that will really help you with both of these Dorito robots and the concentrated beasts on 12-3 later. As for floor 12-2, the thing you want to do is to run away a little bit to attract those 2 guys to come to you closer, so that way they group up a little bit better. That would be much better, much easier to take care of. These these Hydro and Cryo Abyss Mages are just here to waste time mostly. The more difficult part are the Abyss Heralds, who will try to perma-freeze you forever, especially once they get to their shield phase. What you want to do is to keep a good amount of reactions going on at all times. And to also use your invincibility frames while using your bursts to avoid any attacks you might not like. And also you really want to make sure to keep your health, because these guys can chunk down your health quite a bit, especially the Cryo Heralds when they do their burst damage. Having Bennett as the sole big healer is not the most preferable, but it is what it is. You should definitely focus the Cryo Heralds first, before you target the Hydro Abyss Heralds. Because the Hydro Herald will have their shield chunked down by the Pyro and the Dendro reactions, respectively. For the Cryo Heralds, they will take damage from Burgeon and Pyro directly. And that's that. For the first half of floor 12-2, we've got the Dendro Chicken, who, well, there's not much to say about this guy. As long as there is Electro or Pyro present here, the chicken will go down very quickly without much fight. It might try to charge you down a little bit and it can do some damage, but other than that it should not be a problem. It's just a tanky little character. You don't need to worry too much about it. You don't even need to reserve your bursts too much for this guy. Especially since Miko's elemental skill does quite quick work of this thing. I probably should be using Beidou's elemental skill and normal attacks a lot more often to create the elemental reactions, but it should work out either way. Floor 2 is not the problem of this Spiral Abyss, it's floors 1 and 3 specifically. I mean chambers 1 and 3 specifically that create problems. I also had lots of problems earlier, but I was able to figure out that Beidou is overpowered because of her both AoE and damage reduction abilities. But yeah, the Tendro Chicken should go down any second now, just a sliver of health left. I'm gonna reserve my burst a little bit, and there we go. For the second half, we have a different boss, known as the Thunder Manifestation, also known as the Thunder Oceanus, some might call it. This bird will go down pretty quickly, especially against burgeon reactions and Nahida specifically. So against this guy, you can preserve your... For this guy, you should definitely preserve your bursts, because floor 12-3 second health will require lots of elemental usage. You'll see what I mean later. But yeah, this guy should not be too difficult. You just, as long as you make sure you deal damage and don't cause the bird to like go to the opposite side of the map, it should not be a problem. We're just gonna finish this guy off here with our elemental skills and elemental attacks as much as possible to preserve the elemental skill burst for floor 12-3. And there we go. For the third side of chamber 12-3, this is the big problem. We don't have just one wave of conjugated beasts, this time at level 100, but 2 waves of conjugated beasts at level 100. This is where I found Beidou to be really useful, because her Constellation 2 bounces the lightning against the enemies 3 times rather than 1 time. And also she provides not just electro resistance decrease on the enemies she fights, but also damage reduction 30% against all damage sources, which should help you survive against these beasts a lot easier. I haven't used Beidou in so long, it is actually kind of crazy that I'm using her. As far as what you should be doing in this fight, you should definitely be focusing on the Hydro, one of the conjugated beasts. The Hydro one tends to run around the map a lot more often and end up just like staring at you from a distance, not attacking you. Meanwhile, the Tendro one will kind of try to find you and attack you, so they will come towards you. So if you want to clump them up a little bit more, you want to target the blue one. If you can't tell what's going on the screen, don't worry, I have trouble telling what's going on as well. This is just regular old Spiral Abyss times. Don't worry about it. And there we go, that floor ended pretty well, all things considered. And for the second side of 12-3, we've got the Baptist. Luckily for us, this Baptist has a 100% possibility of being both Cryo, Pyro, and Hydro in terms of shields. This guy will not have Electro shields, so having Burgeon as your main team will be useful. Having Nahida to deal with the Hydro shields is good, having Xingqiu to deal with the Pyro shield is good, and having both Bennett and Thoma to deal with the Cryo shield is the final piece of the puzzle. This is why having Burgeon is so great. Do make sure to have your energy full, so you can apply all the elements at all the perfect times. Use Nahida whenever it has the Hydro shield, Use Bennett and Thoma whenever it has the Cryo Shield, and just keep attacking when it has the Pyro Shield. And if you're any lucky with your elemental reactions and such, especially with using Bennett as a damage buffer, you should be able to defeat it barely in time to get the 9-star completion. As for the builds, yeah, Miko is pretty decently built. She has decent crit stats. She wears the Witches R5. The artifacts are pretty decent. I just have 2-piece Gladiator, 2-piece Wanderer's Troop, C0, and talent 698 for now, cause she is relatively new in my team. Beidou stats could be better. She has the Sea Lord. She has a relatively mid Emblem of Severed Fate set. She is C6 and 999 in talent. Kazuha is a full Elemental Master build with one of those weapons. He of course has the 4-piece VV set. C0, 9, 10, 10. And Baizhu is mostly focused on HP and also has the Thrilling Tail to provide some extra buffs for Miko or Beidou to deal damage. Talent 688. For the other team, I have Nahida with maxed out Elemental Mastery, carrying the Sacrificial Fragments as a 4-piece Deepwood Memory set, which doesn't matter too much, but it is what it is. C0, 999. For Bennett, it's the usual build with a Sapwood Blade, 4-piece Noblesse with decent stats, C6 and 9910. Xingqiu has decent stats with his Sacrificial Sword. He also has the Noblesse set. I could have probably used a different set, like a Emblem of Severed Fate set, but I don't have one of those extra. And Thoma is built with Elemental Mastery and that Inazuma craftable weapon. He is focused on Elemental Mastery, C6, causes the Hutiao incident, and yeah, that's really about it. With this in mind, you should probably be able to complete Spiral Abyss 9 stars yourself as well. It might require a little bit of luck and some things to go in your way, but other than that, it is not too bad except for the timer. The timer is a killer. Other than that though, I'll see you next time. Take care everyone.